Man, I'm glad we could get you on here, especially somebody running a company like Phoenix. And
Thank you. I appreciate it.
yeah, man, it's like wow, we're getting like I had Christian Lopez on here last, and now I get you on here. It's like man, we're getting
Oh, he
some
was here. Okay.
yeah, we're getting some legit guys going now. So it's awesome, man. But yeah, welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, to be honest.
You here for the conference, right?
I'm here for the conference, not just a conference, it's kind of a trip I'm taking. Started from Canada, our site up in St. Leon, and then down to North Dakota. We got a site there. And then, of course, these 2 days to be here in Dallas, it's the place to be.
Right, right. I agree. And the conference, I haven't even got to set foot in, but I heard it looks pretty good, and it sounds like it's packed.
Yeah, lot of good people from the industry. It's a good one because it's very focused on people from the industry, not just only miners. I can see a lot of things that actually from the finance side of the crypto, lenders. So it's more focused on that vertical of the business, also providing liquidity.
Yeah.
The kind of stuff that you don't see in all the conferences.
I was going to say that's a little bit different than a lot of the other conferences we see, which I'm not dogging. I'm going to have a good time, but a lot of them are kind of more like it's almost like a pep rally instead of, you know what I mean? Instead of like a business meeting or event. But yeah, no, I think the whole industry right now, because of obviously the price jump, everybody's realizing, but the chatter and the talk around it being so focused on like the political headwinds being behind us instead of in front of us now for the first time ever. And I think it's just created a lot of excitement from large institutional type players, and also from the government angle. I think that's a huge deal. And you're from Dubai, or live in Dubai. And I think I see the different things in the Middle East, but they seem to be ahead of the curve a lot. I feel like they're much more aggressively embracing like crypto, Bitcoin in particular. And it's exciting to see. I was in Dubai in February 22. Actually, it was the first time I've been in the Middle East. And first of all, Dubai is freaking crazy. It felt like I was in like a virtual reality or something. It was wild, dude. It was no trash on the ground.
Everybody say the same thing these days about it, to be honest. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
The pace of progress is
it's insane.
Very unique. Yeah.
It feels like, man, they are moving. You know what I mean? I left there, and I don't say this in an unpatriotic way, but like, there's been a lot of things over the last few years where I'm like, man, we're in decline, like big time. And then I go to a place there and I'm like, I felt the exact opposite. I was like, these guys are ramping up big time. And there's a lot of like opportunity and capital available, it felt like. And it was really freaking crazy to see them building islands and stuff out there. I'm like, I've never seen anything like it. So I liked being there, and now I want to go back because you told me about a really cool event that I'm going to go make sure I'm a part of. But it's nice to see now the U.S. kind of embracing more of a pro, Bitcoin development and Bitcoin mining and Bitcoin strategic reserve type. All those things are such new good things for our whole industry that, like, I feel just emboldened because I've made it through the bear market. Now I get to start reaping the benefits of one of these, bull runs for the first time.
All of us are looking forward. Well, in UAE in general, since let's say last 20, 25 years, I think what happened was that in general, the priorities were set and everybody was very focused into building and making sure this is the goal from point A to point B, and we're going to need A, B, C, D. One of them definitely is going to be technology, being technology driven. So a country out of Middle East wants to advance and try to get into the standards of best countries in the world. So the main thing that was needed was the goal. And then in order to reach those goals, one of the main, I would say, apparatus was technology. And crypto, this started a couple of years back when the leadership of the country in Abu Dhabi decided to establish like the biggest crypto mining farm at that time, probably in the world, or one, maybe top 3. That thing was all behind the same notion of that it's a technology. If we want to get ahead of everybody else, we have to make sure we adapt it. We have to make sure we work with it. We have to understand how it works. And it's always been with UAE, Abu Dhabi, and Dubai. It's always been like, okay, a new technology comes and still you see it. If it's a flying taxi, okay, let's do it. If it's a hyperloop, let's do it. So the whole country and the government over there is more focused in basically the progress and the economy of the country. Those are the things that dictate the policies. So when a country and its leadership is very focused on top 3, 4 things, you get a good result. So it's about security. I still don't lock my house in Dubai. I still don't do it. Abu Dhabi is even probably safer by many factors. You check on the Instagram or anywhere, top 10 safe cities in the world. So these are the amazing. So the security, it's one of the things. Because I always have this saying, like money and capital is like water. It always goes where it's comfortable. So that's thing. Security, that's their amazing, top notch, and their adaptation, the pace of adaptation. Crypto mining facility in Abu Dhabi is one of it. You'll see M2 before any of these big other big exchanges come to UAE, where we started M2. And so the government is very, very progressive, and they want to make sure that whatever is technology out there, UAE gets it. UAE gets it fast. And we saw it in COVID also. This is the notion behind the leadership and what you're trying to do. And this helps us a lot. And this helps us to be in an environment that the government and the leadership, they're very pro-technology, pro-crypto, and welcome new technologies. So that's a very big add-on for us being there.
I think anybody who's been there probably would be like, everybody I've talked to who's ever been there, and when I tell them kind of my experience, everybody's on the same page. It's remarkable. And it's kind of a tribute to what a government can do when, like you said, they got kind of the right goals and the right things in mind and kind of business focus. That's why I'm excited about the Trump administration coming in. I don't think the U.S. has had a business-friendly administration like this, maybe ever, not where they had House, Senate, and the presidency. So I'm excited just to see what can happen now, because I do think it's kind of an arms race to make sure you have, Bitcoin as like your country is situated to be a participant in the worldwide kind of economy that Bitcoin creates. So I don't know, man, I'm really excited about what's going to be coming over the next 4 years, next 2 years especially, but even over the next 4 years. I think that there's so much opportunity to like grow businesses and establish like businesses that will go beyond this next administration well into the future because of what happens over the next 2 years. So in Phoenix, where you're running the shop, you guys have been doing a lot, and I've worked with you guys, and full disclosure, I've been your guys' counsel. I've also done deals with you guys. So sure, I'm biased a little bit, but and I've told Sarah this, I have not enjoyed doing deals with anybody more than I've enjoyed working with you guys.
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm dead serious. It's been Haroon, Elsa, Farah, all the attorneys over there have been the best ones to work with I think I've ever done any work with. So
appreciate it.
Shout out to you guys, man. But all that being said, what are your guys' kind of goals now with kind of the Bitcoin price ripping? Are you guys still looking for acquisitions of sites or companies, or are you looking to maybe develop your pipeline, like deploying capital to just to building out infrastructure that you've already owned the megawatts on?
Well, we already started this strategy after the halving. We had plans. Number one, we're going to make sure that those plans that we have in pipeline, we have a couple of 100 megawatts, let's say, in the pipeline. we're still going to keep developing. That's what we're going to do, but we're going to be very selective about the sites and the power price and where we're going to be. That's number one. Number two, what we have as a mandate from our highest management is that we want to work with people more in terms of a joint venture, not just because of the profitability of it and the finance aspect of it, but also because we want to expand our network and our footprint as a listed company. Of course, we look for growth, but we also want to make sure that any kind of development that we're getting into, it's one of those that it can last after the halving that's coming as well. So we kind of want to. It's a hybrid model. We're not thinking about a lot of acquisitions, to be honest. Our other wings of the group, they're working on Web3 projects. Lively was just a recent one that got launched. It's very successful now. The token is doing amazing. The platform is doing well. And
that's a fitness thing, right?
no, not just a fitness thing. It's basically a social media platform for content.
Yeah.
It's getting very popular there because some of the people just got tired of what's happening on social media and Instagram, getting bombarded with content that some of it has no value and just want to get rid of it. So that was the Web3 concept behind it also. So basically the content creators, they get rewarded for the content that you're creating. So we're going to be very focused in terms of Web3 and development of projects. That's where our development's going to be, and maybe acquisitions down the line in JV. But in terms of the Bitcoin mining side of it that I'm taking care of, we're still going to build. But building is not going to be like what we saw 5-6 years ago. Everybody was just rushing to it. Any power price, I want to be there. No, we learned from past, and we want to be focused. We're going to be focusing a bit of maybe on the power generation side. That's something we're seriously looking at it to make sure that, because we want to see what's going to happen down the road in 4 years. So having our own power generation is going to be an advantage, and we're looking at it. Other side is building sites with more efficient management. I think this cycle, the last 2 years, taught everybody in the business that you got to be efficient.
Right.
Softwares, controlling your ops, your repair. These are just things that 5 years ago you wouldn't pay that much attention to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care if like 2-3% of my fleet is not working. Now it's all about these tiny percentage because you want to make sure you're better than everybody else. So that kind of adaptation to efficiency is something that pushed us right now to work on these things, be more efficient in terms of our operations, get rid of if we have a site that it's not efficient, we're looking at different options, whether liquidate it or convert into a data center, because that's another game as well. So we're kind of focused on that, and in our expansion plans, we're looking both in the US and let's say North America, because Canada seems to be more also becoming a bit more lenient about Bitcoin mining as well, and also out of US.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I was going to ask too, is like, other than your operations in, I would say, North America, because I know you guys got some in Canada. Where are you guys operating? You got some in Dubai or?
We got some in Abu Dhabi. So we got a JV. We got a big site in Abu Dhabi. It has a capacity to go to 270. It's being operated around at 240 right now. Okay. So that's one of it. And then we got operations in North America, South Carolina. North Dakota is coming on. You know better about it. So we're very excited about North Dakota because things are going very smooth there. We're on track. And Saint Leon in Canada, Manitoba, and things are becoming a bit positive there. I think what we see is that what happened in the election was kind of to us as foreigners, it was like a revolution.
Yeah.
Because we were always like, when we were seeing it from outside, we were like, okay, superpower, why everything is so slow, everything is so against the businesses. you have to be careful about what you say, and it kind of like it was looking like a derailing.
Yeah.
And now we're so also excited because in Middle East we're also looking at it from the political side, kind of a stability. It's good for our business. So for us, we all saw it as a revolution because it's not just one party is out and another one is out. And we kind of see that it's like people in charge of business is back. Capitalism is probably capitalism is probably back. Now things are going to be done based on how it makes sense financially,
Right.
not because you want to make sure that no one gets hurt.
Right.
So
right.
so things, and that's
Their
very
feelings hurt. It's
Exactly.
like, golly.
Exactly. And I think
So glad to be getting rid of this.
I was watching the election night. When it was early morning. And I was like, because all these polls were saying it's a tie, it's neck to neck. And I was like, okay, let's watch it. And I was looking at Virginia. I was like, he's only behind like 9%. I was like, okay,
Virginia?
in Virginia. I was like, okay, let's keep tap on this. And then suddenly all these votes were getting counted, and I was, oh, this seems like it's going to be really interesting. And we were hoping for any kind of an election that it wouldn't get into a dispute.
Yeah.
So this one is undisputed.
Right. Right.
And now we can see the business people are in charge. They understand the potential of crypto, and the people that are taking charge are not taking these positions in the government because they need it financially, or they have to feel secure. Right. They want to make sure that they don't sign this because they might not get up the ladder.
Right.
Because these are all business people that they're there to get things done.
I know, man.
And that's great for crypto.
Right. It is. And that's actually the best way to put it, is that you look at like the top 4 cabinet members he's already nominated or going to basically appoint. They're all Bitcoiners, all of them. And like big time ones. So I know it's like, golly, man, and I'm sure it was exciting for you guys too, but like, if you think about it, think of how you would feel if your government was actively like talking about how to eliminate you, and what you do for a living. It's like, man, the way I know myself and like Jake and a lot of my buddies that are in the industry here, I haven't felt this way in a long time, where I'm just like excited about the future, because I don't have to worry about, the constant barrage of legislation that is trying to put a hamper on you being able to make a living. It's like, golly, man, this is super, super exciting. So
remember that 30% tax on energy that we're talking about? Oh,
it's
my
absurd,
God.
Absurd.
When that was out there, I was like, okay, as a Bitcoin miner, 50 to 58% of my cost is my power.
Right.
So you're going to take another 30 on top. I'm going to be with 86%. So are you telling me I'm going to make 14%?
Right.
That's it?
You can't do that. You know what I mean? The business, that's a business killer. So I'm just, it's a huge relief to get that stuff out of the way and be able to now kind of focus on building. And that's where I think there's going to be tremendous growth in the next 3-4 years. But what about on the AI side? Like you guys have some obviously serious backing. I think you guys are probably, like, if I wanted a counterparty, first person I'm gonna call is you guys, because you can execute on it. But in the AI world, this obviously is very, very expensive to build. Are you guys looking to get into that game more? Do you have some going already, or like?
We're right now on a technical aspect of it. We're looking at it, because it needs a lot of capital. Because I remember months ago, per megawatt of a Bitcoin mining cost would be 1.3, and on a data center would be probably 7. Then suddenly on a AI, it could get up to even 40, including the cards. So
it's so crazy, isn't it?
It's still crazy. It needs a lot of capital. But what we're looking at right now, we're looking at it. Of course, this is something that has to come from our main shareholders in Abu Dhabi and our principal. And if we get a mandate on it, we work on it more, but we're kind of doing a study right now. One of the studies, for example, we're trying to do in it's at 90% is that we're trying to design, which is not an easy thing to do, a project basically from power generation all the way to the downstream of an Bitcoin mining, that with minimum cost, you can convert it into a data center. Now, on the AI side, it's going to be a bit difficult because you need the buildings. It's kind of something required. On the other HPCs and other data centers, you can still go with containers. A lot of companies are coming up with solutions. So we're working on that. But on the main thing on AI, we see it's very much capital driven. On the technicalities of how to do it, we're looking at it, but right now we don't have anything in mandate to go and do right away purchase it, because we think we have to find the right spot. We're working right now with another group to develop a big site. I cannot go into all the details of it right now. So yes, we're looking at it, but in terms of execution, we're looking at something probably down the line in 6 months to a year. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you'd primarily still be like a Bitcoin miner.
Yes, we're gonna be a Bitcoin. But what we have done since the halving, every company basically took some initiative to diversify. Some went to data centers, HPC. One of the things we did, we didn't pivot from Bitcoin mining, so we stayed as a Bitcoin miner, but we started other things that were, when you look at it, they're more profitable in terms of profitability. One would be M2, the exchange, centralized exchange. Others would be the Web3 projects, because we can see
they're more profitable than
yeah, because when you look at, for example, the Web3 projects and the tokenization of assets or tokenization of projects, the world is different there. You're looking at 3x, 4x, 5x, 6x.
Wow.
In our world, in Bitcoin mining, we're looking at, okay, there are different ways to look at how you calculate the profitability of it. But these days you're looking at 30, 40%. You do better, you do worse, you might go down to 20s. But the finance world of crypto, it starts with X. It's like 2X, 3X. It's totally different. So we made sure we're there also.
So is that a lot of software developing then, or what, coding and just building out?
Well, what's needed, the planning is very important. The development of it is very important. Supervision of that development is very important. On the M2 side, getting the regulatory body to basically first understand this. Thankfully, the regulatory body in Abu Dhabi, they're so open. So it could be like, it was a journey for both of us to educate. Of course, M2 has its own, Phoenix is a shareholder, but a minority shareholder. But we try to make sure that our co-founders and also our principals in Abu Dhabi, they've been trying to talk to the regulatory body, and that has started well, actually. We started something that no one thought could be done out of UAE. So the finance side, so we kind of did this diversification just to make sure, because times were not easy for us. You know that when halving happened. So now all of that is paying off well. And we're going to still look into that. We think that the Web3 and what's happening on the finance side of crypto has tremendous potential. And the adaptation that's on the way and happening as we speak is going to push it forward. And also more people will be able to understand it and tap into that potential. So we want to make sure that we're there to make sure that we're in that and be a pioneer in that, at least in Middle East, to take advantage from the situation. This is the time. This is the right time. And now that the U.S. administration is a pro-crypto, because usually governments, regulatory bodies usually follow what the U.S. is doing.
Right.
This is going to change, and gladly, what we have in Abu Dhabi was already open, but had we had a government here that was not pro-crypto, it still would put a bit of pressure. but this is now, it's going to help a lot.
Yeah, I think so too, man. So I would just had Christian Lopez on talking about, what the market might do, now that we're in kind of a bull cycle. At least it looks like we're going into a bull cycle. Do you think there's going to be some consolidation amongst like the big players out there? Or do you think people are going to be kind of like you were saying, you're going to focus on your pipeline you already have to develop? But you guys keep up much with the public companies here that are scooping each other up or trying to?
Well, what we're trying to do, because there is an advantage that the public companies here have, is that they can always go to market and raise funds.
Right.
Over there, we have to stick with their regulation, and for us, it's not like that. We can go to market and raise funds, but we try to be efficient and grow. And over there, we don't see a lot of competition, to be honest. But we always try to make sure that with our American colleagues here and the big popcos here, we can keep up, hopefully. In terms of consolidation, I think we're gonna see a lot of consolidation here because there's a lot of capital. Yeah. When there is a lot of capital, you can also deploy to do a lot of acquisitions, strategic ones. Maybe financially, it's not gonna make sense, but people will go to those kind of acquisitions to just make a strategic move and make sure they get a bigger market share. What we're trying to do, we're gonna focus on our own pipeline. We're going to make sure we're efficient in terms of power and the fleet that we have. But something in general, I believe it's going to happen because right now, of course, everything's profitable. Mm-hmm. And we always know that there is always a big chance that you get a correction. Mm-hmm. So when that happens, usually the first ones that are going to hurt are those that are inefficient and those who are small.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of that. 4 or 5 years ago, a lot of people could do Bitcoin mining. But right now, if you want to do Bitcoin mining and you see it as a business that you want to last, you want to use your machines for 4 years, you got to make sure that you have a proper infrastructure for it. Yeah. Whether it's immersion or hydro, those are the kind of things you're going to look at because we know that the air-cooled miners are not going to last like the other two. So it's becoming, in terms of a business, I would call it the industry itself. The whole Bitcoin mining is becoming very industrialized.
Right.
Big sites. I personally believe that down the line, that's what's going to happen. Probably, maybe I'm wrong. I think down the line in 5-10 years, Bitcoin mining companies like oil companies.
I was just going to say that.
We're going to have like a couple of them, maybe. You can count them by your hand. Mm-hmm. And then everybody else who wants to get exposure to Bitcoin can either go buy the stock, buy the index, or buy the hash online. Mm-hmm. It's because right now, take a look at the miners. A 335 terahash miner right now at a price, it's varying between 17 to 24. It's becoming expensive. Mm-hmm. So the average Joe out there cannot just go and get a $10,000 miner. Right. Miners used to be cheaper, and just plug it in because you also need the infrastructure for it. Mm-hmm. So I think down the line, what we're gonna see, a couple of companies out there mining, popcos or bigger private ones probably, and everybody else who wants exposure either go to buy their stocks, get the index, go to the ETF, or buy the BTC, or what we're seeing that becoming very, very popular, buying the hash rate.
Yeah, yeah. Do you guys have a hash?
We have
a
platform. We have a platform. We also work with some of the big platforms for buying and selling hash rates online, and also we have our own digitalmining.com. You can always buy a hash rate. Depends on the market price. Sometimes it's above the index, sometimes it's below the index. It keeps varying. And I think that's going to be the retail market in the future.
That is awesome because I've wanted that to happen. I think that people can't afford those machines. And I actually was talking about this with Christian too and with somebody else. I think a lot of the groups, like some of the best return projects I've seen are like S19 J Pros on like 2 cent power that you have available for like 70% of the day. That's the ROI on those is ridiculous. Like
Yes.
it's like 6 months, you know, it's super cheap and it's like capital that anybody can really get together, small guys. I could see a place for like small miners to basically be just like in oil and gas. There's
Yeah.
companies that will pick up stripper production because that makes sense for them. They can make it work, but it doesn't make sense for a big guy. So I do. I look at the Bitcoin miner world. It's identical to the oil and gas world to me. Like that's exactly what I
Going
think
in
it
that
is.
same direction.
Yeah, like you have the Chevrons and Exxons and BPs, and then you have these little mom and pop shops that are buying up all the stripper production and just trying to, you know, scrape by
They
and
make
make
money,
it.
they're profitable also. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. And I guess I want to get to you guys. And this is another one. I don't know if you can talk about it, but if you would, I heard rumors about you or I guess Bajan having tigers and lions. You correct me. It's a lion, right?
It's a lion. True, it's a lion.
Okay, so I
He
asked.
had it, now he doesn't have
No,
it.
you got rid of it. All right.
We have to give it away. Yeah.
Well,
Became too big.
yeah, he got too big. That's when I know I've made it, is when I can get a pet exotic animal. So I lived in Missouri growing up, and there was this person who lived outside of town, and they had like lions, they had tigers, they had bears. It was like
God.
lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! But they had all those out there, and like we try to get, you know, my wife's not here, so I talk about it because I went to high school with her. But we try to get, you know, chicks to go out with us. We go show them at night and take them out to see these animals. But there was one time I was turkey hunting, and I'd been out drinking the night before, so I'm kind of hungover a little bit. And I fall asleep in my tree, and my brother's sitting on the other side of the tree, and I hear him. He's like, "Hey, Bear," my nickname is Bear. And he's like, "Bear, wake up." I'm like, "Huh?" And he said, look across the field. What is that? And I look over there. I'm like, what is that thing? It looked like a big old huge golden retriever. And so I'm watching. You know, I can't tell, but this thing is massive. And we go home, and we didn't have cell phones back then. I get in the door, and my dad's like, did you go hunting over at Feldman's? I'm like, yeah. He's like, don't go over there for a while till they tell you one of the lions got out, and they're out. I was like,
my God.
Dad, we saw the freaking lion out there. I was turkey hunting. Like, I got a 12 gauge out there. It'd be like throwing grapes at a giant, man, if it came over. But yeah, so I've had experience with lions too, but no pet ones though.
Yeah, her name was Candy. Oh my God. Yeah, for like 2-3 months, we kept her around, and then I was like, dude, Bishan, we just gotta do something
get rid of
about
the
it. This
lion,
one, this is not.
This is kinda
You know
scary.
it's not sustainable. We can't have it.
Yeah, man. I was like, first of all, how do you make the decision to go get it? You know what I mean? Is there you guys like sitting around just hanging out and you're like, man, I know what we need. We need a lion in here.
Because look, Bijan is always the guy who's always thinking out of the box.
Okay.
Like even the fun is out of the box, even the business is out of the box. It's always like it's always been like that.
Yeah.
So when everyone's like thinking about cats and dogs, he's thinking about lions. It's
Lions
the
and
same thing.
wolves.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's always been the same.
Hey, man, that's probably why you guys have had so much success, you know, forward thinking.
Appreciate it.
He needs to meet my brother. My brother's, he's a bit of a shaman. He's always got weird stuff going on, too.
You should come and meet him in Abu Dhabi.
I told you I'm coming. I'm coming.
F1, yeah.
Yes, I put it in the books. I'm coming. We'll do a little mini documentary while we're out there.
Sure.
It'll be fun. But well, I don't know how long you're gonna be in town, man. But if you're gonna be in town, we need to grab some dinner or something.
Sure,
and-
I'm gonna be here. I think until the weekend. And I'm gonna fly to Charlotte
Okay.
and then drive down to South Carolina. Yeah, but sure, for sure.
All right. How often do you get into the States?
Oh, a lot these
Yeah.
days.
I mean, the last time I met you, you had all the Trump gear on.
Yeah, that was. We had a Trump, like we have a whole Trump set.
Yeah.
Like on my way back from South Carolina, when I was driving, I saw a trailer with a lot of Trump signs. I
Yeah.
just pulled over. I said, wait a second. I go to this trailer. There's this guy sitting there looking at me. Who's this guy?
Who's this Middle Eastern dude?
Middle Eastern dude. There's like, how can I help you? I'm like, okay, I started buying stuff, all of that pro crypto thing and the flags and all of that. And he looks at me, he's actually spending money shopping. And then he looks at him, he looks at me and is like, so where are you coming from? You seem like you're a long way back from home. I said, yeah, I'm coming from Dubai. He looks at, isn't it a place that they just like build big islands? I said, yeah, sort of. And so I buy a lot of things, a lot of souvenirs for Bijan and everybody. And then from Mogs, anything that you can find. Nice t-shirt, fun t-shirts. And then I see he literally lives in the trailer. So I looked at it like there's this big Trump banner.
Yeah.
It's written on it, wanted, because he got convicted at that time in New York. Wanted, and then below that, it was written for president. And then
That's
his
awesome.
mugshot was there. So I was like, I gotta get this. And then he looks at, I said, look, I need this. He was like, that's not for sale. I'm like, okay, how come, why? Come on, work with me. He's like, I told him, look, I'm a long way from home, you said, and I want to get this for a friend of mine. And he's like, no, but I use it as a separator also. That's where I live. And I'm like, oh my God, his bed is there. It's like, come on, man. I paid for all of these things. Give me something unique. So then he made it, he folded it. He's like, okay, and he puts it in these black bags, and I'm like, I'm taking out, okay, now I'm gonna fly to JFK, New York. That's a blue state.
Right,
so I just gotta be careful with this all the way. So I was like, when I was in Texas or red states, I was like, oh, when I was passing through the airport, because I never have checked in luggage. So all of the things, and I was okay. In New York, I was like, it's a blue state. Be careful with all these things that you purchase. It was fun.
Yeah, no, that's what I was curious, like in the Middle East, and I know you probably gotta go very quick, but like we hear the news, and the news makes it sound like everybody in the world hates Trump and thinks he's a joke, thinks he's a clown, but it doesn't sound like that's.
Yeah, I think what Trump, maybe the first administration he had was a bit different.
Right.
But this time, the message was that we want to be pro-business,
Right.
not hurt your feelings.
Right.
So this was, and we saw this as a good thing, because what we're seeing, what we are hearing all the time, this stereotype was that, oh my God, if you want to do anything, if you want to convince the U.S. government of anything, you can't do it. It's gonna take forever. There's the paperwork. So this sounds like a reset button.
Right. Yeah.
And this is very good for crypto, because we had to talk about crypto, about how this adaptation is required, and talking about, look, it's very easy. You don't need to be a genius to understand it. Imagine it's getting adapted. The adaptation is increasing. And imagine the supply is going down.
Right.
So this is a good store of value, and
don't know
luck
why.
explain it to governments that they just don't want to listen.
Right.
Now, and we see when US does something, rest of the world usually follow. Now with this, we always saw this as an opportunity. So we think things are going to get way better and different for crypto and businesses. And we're going to be back in a kind of an environment that business dictates everything, not just politics, or I don't want your feelings to be hurt, or all of those kind of things.
Every cycle has like learnings, I think, that people get from each one, and then there's a new thing that's kind of thrown on into each new cycle. I think last time it was a lot of institutional money came in from mining side and all that. This time I think there's an aspect to like governments coming in, and the whole strategic Bitcoin reserve and all that kind of stuff could create a whole new level of capital that we couldn't really comprehend coming into the market. But then on more of the like technical side for individuals, and looking at mining and like, why should I mine versus why should I not just buy Bitcoin? And I think there is a case for for this, and it's especially like during these bull runs. But you were talking earlier, like what's your kind of thesis on that, or explanation for why people should mine versus buying Bitcoin, I guess?
Well, now things are very much changed. It's very easy to look at it. Imagine you got a cost of a miner. What's associated with mining? It's the cost of the miner, it's the power. These days, when you do the math, let's say even if you're at 6.5 cents, in terms of those who want to do hosting, what you're looking at is that when you depreciate your asset, when you look at the cost of the electricity, the Bitcoin price would come around 58 to 68,000, depending how you calculate it. So the cost of, so now, right now, if you mine, you're mining a Bitcoin at a cost of 58 to 68, probably, maybe 70 on the highest one, and BTC is at 97. Yeah. So the downturn for this is the downside of this is that you're mining Bitcoin at a very great value, because there is a chance that you buy at 97, buy at 104, and still it comes down. But in the mining, it's like you're looking at it as a long-term investment that you're mining your Bitcoin, and the cost right now is so attractive that there is a big gap of $20,000-$30,000 between production and buying the, let's call it, the ready product. Yeah. So it's making it very attractive, and we're seeing the miner prices are going up. Again, people are turning off miners, and I think this is going to be a huge thing for all of the miners. And everyone who wants to mine right now the economy makes so much sense that you just have to make sure you get there fast.
Right. I've thought about this many times, and like when you're in a bear market and Bitcoin is tanked, that to me is like the time, that's when you buy, right? Exactly. That's when I buy Bitcoin.
Exactly.
And when we get into these kind of times where it's like you can't keep up with the price, like, because you anticipate there'll be some levels of corrections in there, right? Yes. But if I can produce Bitcoin then at 58, 65, and somewhere in there, I don't see how you can beat that.
And that's how institutions are looking at it. They don't look at it, let me mine, and I'm going to sell my Bitcoin and pay my power bill or hosting bill. Now the big guys, they understand it way better. Yeah. They mine their BTC and they pay the electricity. They see it as a product that they're buying at a cheaper price.
Right.
That by the time in 3 years, they're just going to average, and they look at it, okay, we got our Bitcoin at a cost of, let's say, 70, 80, but look at it right now, what we have, and it's going to be, what, 200, 250? Right. So that's the game right now.
Yeah. When you got going with, and I'm sorry, because this is kind of jumping back, but it just kind of hit me, is like, what was the government's viewpoint on Bitcoin when you guys first got going? Because, and I don't know, I hear different things, but are you guys working closely with like Sovereign Wealth Fund or anything?
Yes, Abu Dhabi, what happened over there, I think they were the main pusher of this thing.
Really?
Yeah, so they found us. We had our showroom on Sheikh Zayed Road, which is like the place to be, and we were approached. And I think that's one of the things we talk about. They are the pioneer of this. Right. One of the main reasons Phoenix is here is because of government vision and the leadership and what they have in mind. So that's how we got encouraged. And then, of course, because before that, we were in Canada and other places. But that was a pivoting moment for us. Suddenly a site of 240 megawatt. Yeah. That was the main factor, the government and the vision and the push that didn't exist anywhere else. And now we're seeing that actually paying off, and we got the support and for our business cases. So we're still looking, if there is more power there, we're still going to look for it. And down the line, what we want to do, we want to expand with that backing, and we want to make sure we're still pioneers in our region.
Right. Yeah. I really appreciate you taking the time to come do this, and
thank you.
I want to do some more of these, and I think we're gonna probably, I gotta convince Sarah to get on board with it, which I don't think it'll be too hard, but I think we're gonna go to Dubai and hang out a little bit.
Definitely. We're gonna do the next one in F1 Abu Dhabi. That's what I want to see you.
I want to see myself there. Yeah. So it sounds great, man. But Well, thank you, Reza. I appreciate it, man. And
Thank you.
we're
Thank you.
we're gonna keep doing some deals together too. We're gonna do
Good,
some
good.
power
We're gonna-
generation stuff.
definitely,
Because I'm on board with you guys on that. I think that's the key.
That's the future.
Yeah.
Be in control of your power.
Yeah, that's it. That to me is like retirement money. That's going to put us in retirement.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
Well, awesome.
Okay.
Like and subscribe. Listen to the show. Appreciate you having Reza on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.